is like your first Comic-Con spotlight panel that's just all about you, right?
First, I'm a virgin. Be gentle.
Be gentle.
I really loved doing Moon Knight so much. I think it was also just such a surprise that I was going to love it as much as I did. You know, I was doing drag at a very early age, and my sister named me Raisin, so I feel like I have to stick with Raisin.
Raisin.
Yeah, Raisin was my name.
I love it.
Is my name. It's one of my names. Is Raisin.
This gentleman who we're about to have here on stage has many awards and has been breaking barriers for Latino characters in Hollywood for yeah. Back in 2016, Vanity Fair called him the best actor of his generation. Time Magazine, in 2016, Time Magazine had him on the list for the 100 most influential folks in the world. Yes. And of course, from his stage and his television and his film career in so many memorable roles and the Star Wars franchise. Yes. Among so much more, please give us a huge New York Comic-Con welcome. Stand on your feet for Emmy-nominated and Golden Globe winner, Oscar Isaac. Take that in.
What's up, everybody? New York Comic-Con! We're back, baby. Great to see you.
Oscar, is so well worth the wait to have you here with us. Are you guys thrilled or what?
So happy to be here with you all.
It's so great to have you here, man. And we were talking just ahead of time before coming out here. You've done press and things like this before, but this is like your first Comic-Con spotlight panel that's just all about you, right?
First, I'm a virgin. Be gentle.
Be gentle. Be absolutely gentle. Well, your fans out here absolutely love you. And what's it like to have your very first spotlight panel in a great city like New York City, huh?
I mean, it's just happy to be back with people, you know? I mean,
right.
just not just through screens. So it just feels good. Feels good to feel the energy.
Oh, and there's definitely energy in this room today. Yeah. Terrific Sunday. Well, of course, we were highlighting a little bit of your accolades, but you've done so much, Oscar, in your career that folks have just loved. Amazing films. You've been like Ex Machina, right? And Robin Hood, my goodness, back then. And, of course, the Star Wars franchise. Yeah,
of course.
How many Poe Dameron fans do we have in this audience? And at home streaming with us. Yeah? So I gotta ask you, I've got to ask you, what was it like to create a role for the Star Wars franchise, man? That had to be an incredible experience.
Yeah, I mean, it was a mind-blowing time because I had just finished Llewyn Davis, and thank you, and then
Golden Globe nominee for that.
Things were really moving kind of quickly, and then I remember I was actually on the set of A Most Violent Year when JJ reached out for me to come out to Paris to talk to him. And Kathleen Kennedy. So I had a sense of what it was going to be, and so I flew out there and I met them, and they kind of told me this story. They pitched me this story, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I was going to get this opportunity.
Yeah. Did you have any hesitation at first with it, or were you sign me up?
When they pitched it, they're like, and then he dies right in the middle, and I was like, no, but okay, no, of course, I have to do it. But then later, JJ reimagined it, and then as we all know, Poe went on.
Did go on, yeah. And you've been able to carry on with him, with video games and animated series as well. I mean, that's got to be great to be able to continue the character all these years.
Yeah, it's really fun. Especially I have little kids now, 2 little boys, and they love it. It's
got to be the coolest dad. Oscar.
Yeah. But they're like they also get bored with it too. They're like, we like the other characters more.
Oh, Dad, we see him all the time, all the time. I'm sure you have great memories, and what's great about these Comic-Cons is that so many of us we love the pop culture, we love the franchises themselves, and we just want to know the behind-the-scenes stuff. So, on the Star Wars franchise itself, what are some great memories from making those films?
I mean, we just, particularly John Boyega and I, we just laughed so much. He's just one of the funniest, sweetest, most beautiful people I've ever met, and so we just had such a good time. And then, for me, what really comes to mind is my time with Carrie Fisher.
I was going to ask, yeah. What was that? Had to be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time I met her, I walked into, it was like a dinner, and then she was kind of standing off the side. I went up to introduce myself, and then she immediately went into like a bunch of her history and ex-husbands and this and that. And I think she just saw me kind of stunned, and she's like, "Sorry, I can't do small talk." And we just immediately just hit it off, and it felt, I don't know, she felt very much like family, warm and funny and damaged, like my family. And like me. So we were just really connected, and I just would remember her walking around always with a Coca-Cola in her hand, and her dog, Gary Fisher.
Gary, yes.
Who I loved so much.
Yeah.
So it just was, for me, it's one of the dearest times, and how sweet she was with my family when they came to visit.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It was such a loss when we lost her, and I bet she was just such a presence on set. So great that you were able to experience that. And we love the Star Wars franchise, right, in this house? But on top of that, you've been very blessed to have done, and while researching you before this panel today, I just love that you've done a lot of comic book characters as well. You've gone into the X-Men series, right? Yeah. And you've lent your talents to Spider-Man, across the Spider-Verse, Were comics a big part of your growing up, or is this just...
Nope.
Nope.
Never heard of them. I loved comics growing up. I'd collect X-Men, and I was really into Spawn when I was younger too, and just really. And I remember my friend and I, we would sit and come up with, we're like, oh, imagine if they ever made a movie like they ever would, but imagine if they would, and we would cast the different characters, and so just to be living in a time where I mean, it is the entertainment, and we've all grown up and are now the ones that are making these movies. It's an amazing thing to be living through.
Yeah, what do you think it is about, comic storytelling, or, stories that come from comic books originally, that just connects so much with fans out there? What do you think it is about that genre?
It's myth, I think it's, humans have always explored really complex ideas through myth, through abstractions, and sometimes you're able to actually speak more deeply the more you abstract with your art, because you can make much more kind of emotional parallels to things as opposed to just so literal. So I don't know, we use myths to explore all kinds of things, and as we make more of these shows and these movies, we find ways of talking about very heavy, real things, emotional things, but in this kind of almost, I'd say, spiritual context.
Yes, absolutely. It's more than just the superpowers that you see, on the cover and all that. But yeah, what you're saying is the myth and everything.
It's analogy.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
a way to talk about things. It's the way to talk about the different aspects of the human psyche.
Absolutely, and you guys are connecting with it, right? Yeah. And then, continuing on, in that comic book, realm and theme, there's Moon Knight that you've just been a part of.
Thank you.
On Disney Plus. So, let's start off. How did that project come across your path?
It was Kevin Feige. We'd been talking for a while about something to do, and then when this came my way, it kind of was exactly what I was just talking about, which I saw an opportunity to talk about something that's very difficult to talk about, but to be able to use the language of the comic book, a myth, and of Egyptian deities, and about the underworld, to talk about, the underworld of the human psyche.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just such a great character to portray.
Absolutely, and you're an executive producer on that as
Yeah.
well. Yes, he does it all. He does it all, folks. What was it like to take on not only starring in the series, but then now an executive producer?
Well, that happened organically. I didn't sign on that way.
Okay.
It just kind of, I became kind of obsessed with the whole show and what it could be, and and just figuring out what the story was and digging deeper and deeper. And so it happened quite organically where they came to me and they're like, you know, you're basically producing it. Would you like to do it officially? And I was like, yeah, sure. At that point, we were almost done at that point. But you know, to be honest, at first I didn't want to be at all a producer on it in case it stunk. I was like, I just was hired to act in it. But I got so into it and so excited by what it could be that I just couldn't help but just pour everything into it.
And we're looking at a season 2, yes?
Are you?
Yeah, are we?
Are you looking at a season?
Are we looking at season 2?
I don't think it's, all I can say is that it's not the last we've heard of the system that is Moon Knight.
Clearly they're excited excited about it. With Moon Knight, any behind the scenes fun with filming that a good memory that the folks might like to hear about?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. That was a lot of hard work.
How so?
It was, well, you know, there was times where, yeah, I'd have to show up and I'd have to kind of figure out, all right, who do I want to play first? Yeah. How am I gonna play the scene? And what I would do is I had my brother there, my brother Michael Benjamin Hernandez, and I was like, well, he's the closest thing to me there is, and he's a great actor. So he would come on set and we would rehearse the scenes. And
really?
We would take turns playing the different parts. And then I would have to, you know, remember what he did, and then I would do my version, and then I'd have my lines fed into my ear, and then just like act to nothing.
Gotcha.
And it was just like a technical mind puzzle to do. So it was a lot of work.
But how cool to also just have your brother involved in it as well, you know? So it means even more to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys enjoying Moon Knight, and you were excited for season 2? Yeah. Well, you know, you've done amazing roles, you know, all throughout your career, in ones we've talked about. But are there any that stand out to you that just really, throughout your career, that have really connected with you a lot? You know, that you just cherish throughout your.
I really, really loved doing Moon Knight so much. I think it was also just such a surprise that I was going to love it as much as I did.
Yeah. Those are the best.
Yeah, and I just I had so much fun being Steven. Like I miss Steven.
Yeah. What do you love about playing Steven?
He's just so funny and honest and just authentically himself.
Yeah.
And I just loved how he was in the world, how he is in the world, how he relates to people without that filter of judgment.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that's the secret to, you know, great acting, to creating great characters, is what you were just saying, you know, just being authentically true?
Well, being open, and I think allowing imagination to take over, you know, I think that's a big one.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, all this creativity and all the great work you have done has now led to, and I don't know if you folks know this out here, but to the collaboration of an original graphic novel that is coming out on October 18th. Yes? Head Wounds, Sparrow. Who's excited about this? Yeah. So this has got to be exciting. Now, after all of this work with, you know, comics, now into creating your own graphic novel with a team and some friends of yours from your childhood, you know, going through here. I understand that, you know, your childhood friends, Robert Johnson and John Alvey, am I saying that correct? Yeah. They brought you the initial idea for the comic, right?
Yeah, well, I used to be in a ska band, guys. I was a real ska guy, you know.
Yeah.
And this was back in Florida, in West Palm Beach. I was in a band called The Worms.
The Worms.
The Worms. It was a ska oi band, and it was me. It was a big band, but it was really me and my buddy Bob Johnson. And he was a singer, and he and I would write all the songs together, and we would make movies together. It was like a real creative furnace, he and I. And he's an incredible man, and he's gone on to just write poetry, and just, you know, he's got terabytes and terabytes of stuff that he's written, and hard drives, and drawings, and all sorts. He's just an incredible creative guy, and has lived a really wild life as well. I mean, he's brushed with death so many times.
Wow.
And at one, you know, he been hit by lightning twice. He got a subdural hematoma. He was in a coma. He had a shelving thing, like break his pelvis. And then at the end, and he survived it all. And then he got stage 5 lymphoma. He was given 6 months to live. And in that time, he started coming up with this story of someone that has a wound that no one else can see, right? And he kind of started developing the story, and luckily, through his will and through all sorts of miracles that occurred, he's 10 years later, he's cancer-free, he's healthy.
Thank goodness.
Writing and going on and on. And anyway, so he came up with this story about this man who's gets these wounds that no one else can see, almost like stigmata type.
Yeah.
And he's basically charged to help the people who have gotten these wounds, and then he'll be relieved of this. You know, it's kind of it's a call to empathy in a way. You know. And so he came up with this story, and we looked at it, and I looked at it, and I was like, this is amazing. And it's really wild because it deals with spiritual warfare, angels and demons and everything that's happening all around us.
You're getting woohoos out there already.
Yeah. And so it was this incredible lore that he wrote books and books about all the levels of the different characters and what they mean and how they interact. And we thought this would be a great graphic novel, even as a proof of concept of what this thing could be. And so that's where we began the journey.
Holy smokes. Just hearing, Bob's story alone, how, and then influencing the graphic novel too. This man has lived, right? And it's so wonderful to hear that he has survived and he's still with us, and now it's translating into a piece of art.
Yeah.
Oh, how beautiful is that?
Yeah,
Isn't that beautiful, everybody?
And he's a guy, he lives out, hunts for his own food. He's very off-grid, and he's just like one of the most incredible, most creative people I've ever met in my life. And so the fact that we could finally find a thing to work on and to actually, share with the world on a bigger stage than the West Palm Beach local band scene is really exciting.
The Worms, right? Yeah. We're going to see a trailer in just about a second here, but this is being produced under your production company, right? Mad Gene.
Well, yeah. So then we just to finish the story, so we got this together. My company, my wife and I, we have a company called Mad Gene Media, and we thank you.
Yeah.
And so we're like, let's have this. This is kind of our first thing, and so we brought it to Legendary. And they decided to go with it and make the comic book, and we needed to put a team together. So we got Brian Buccellato, incredible writer. We got Christian Ward to do the art for it. Fantastic. And together we have this thing that we're so proud of that's coming out, imminently.
Yes, yeah. Would you guys like to see a trailer of this? I think they would. Go ahead and check this out. A trailer for Head Wounds Sparrow. Oh, you're good. You're good, man. You're good. What do you guys think about that? And I saw a little bit of the guitar in there too. Getting a little of the ska in there too. It's good. Well, doesn't that look exciting, everybody? Well, you just mentioned them just a moment ago, and we want to talk more about this because it looks absolutely incredible. Please welcome the gentleman behind the writing and the art of Head Wounds Sparrow. We've got Brian Buccellato and Christian Ward. Here they come. Oh, yeah. Welcome, you guys. Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, man, that looked absolutely spectacular.
Yep.
Yeah. And we're so close to October 18th when it's coming out. This has got to be pretty exciting for you, all three of you.
My palms are very sweaty right now.
Yes, yeah.
There's a lot of people out there.
Well, as you're soaking this in, Oscar, let me ask you, when Legendary had suggested these fine gentlemen to be a part of the project, what did you like about their work and what you thought was going to be just so great for the project?
Brian, obviously we know, he's such a great comic writer, such great runs, Flash and Batman and just on, and just it's such great, clear writing. And what it felt like when we brought him the story, it felt like bringing it to a doctor that's like looking at an X-ray and just knew exactly what the best way, where to cut, where to make the incisions, what's going to drive the whole thing forward.
Yeah.
And it was just very, very clear that this was our guy, and also understands it, has lived a lot of life, understood what we were going for. And with Christian, it was really funny because I remember when we first met, you're like, I think you got the wrong Christian. You know, he's like, are you sure it's me? I'm the one? And we're like, yeah, for sure. He's like, because I don't really do noir, dark, you know. He's like, I do like crazy, you know, shit. And what I loved about Christian's work is just the storytelling. Sometimes the way that a gesture or something, a subtle thing indicates a whole element of story, you know, that's done in whether it's by panel or the way that he shows an action unfold. It just was so creative and reminded me of some of the great filmmakers that I love. And so it felt like that was just what would make this thing really come to life.
I think he likes you both. I think it's amazing.
That's high praise. Thank you.
That is very high praise. High praise. Well, Brian, Christian, let me ask you, what was so appealing about the project when it was presented to you?
I mean, besides the obvious, getting to work
yes.
with someone of your talent, for me it was just the story of Leo and the redemption aspect. And then, of course, hearing Bob's story and how that like personally played into the character. Like, it was a no-brainer. For me, it was just creative problem-solving after that. Like, how do I take this mythology? Like, they did all the heavy lifting. They did so much work. And so for me, it was just, I guess, getting surgical and just figuring out how do I tell a compelling story that's interesting to me first and hopefully will be interesting to other people.
Yeah, you know, Leo is a character that is, you know, he's an anti-hero on a path to redemption. So, you know, could any of you share about, you know, why the theme of redemption is so important in this story?
Well, there is a quote that I will absolutely not try to quote about the providence of the sparrow that to me made me understand it. When we had our first early talks, I believe you brought it up, but it was in Bob and John's work. And John Alvey, who's also part of the whole process,
Yes.
I want to shout him out as well.
Yeah, and he was in the Worms as well.
Yeah. Well, he was in the Worms as well?
Yeah.
That's
of course.
Cool.
But it explained the character and the concept, because, you know, we've seen angel and demon stories, but this is different. And it was presented in such a way that understanding that the sparrow, you know, represented hope, and it represented a chance for the worst of us to be redeemed is the thing that I responded to, but I can't quote it.
Yeah, but that's so cool. That's so cool. Christian, you were given a lot of wiggle room when developing the look of this.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Emphasis on wiggle.
Wiggled
Love a good
lot.
wiggle.
Yeah, just wiggled every day. Well, I mean, for me, it was just the challenge of, I mean, Oscar sort of said, this isn't my usual. You know, a lot of my stuff is cosmic and space.
Yeah.
And it was really, I think why I wanted to do it was the challenge. Like, okay, what does my neo-noir look like? You know, how am I going to kind of bring this world to life? And it was amazing. And I would, you know, we'd have these Zoom meetings and talk about what it was going to look like, what the story was going to be. And every wild idea, I'd be like, what if we do this?
And how does that come to you? You know, as an artist, I bet we would love to know, you know, in the process of it. Like, how do you begin, especially if it's something you're not known for doing? You know, where did you begin with the creation?
The story. You know, you go and you read the story, you connect with the characters, and you always, whenever you draw a comic, you have to kind of connect with the characters. I mean, I imagine it's the same as being an actor. You have to kind of love the characters almost and get what they're about and understand what their journey is. And then once you have that foundation, then you start building on it, and you use the things, you know, you like talking about kind of cinema, you use sort of like those are your key points, the sort of like think those are my starting points, and you build it from there.
Yeah. And Oscar, you know, the vibe of like 70s crime, you know, in this, you know, it plays a pivotal part in the story. So what's appealing about, you know, that period in, you know, American cinema, and, you know, and how does it relate to Headroom Sparrow?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's when really there was a push towards the anti-hero. You know, you see films like Taxi Driver,
Yeah.
Midnight Cowboy,
Yeah.
you know, Serpico, and these incredible, really gritty, realistic stories. And I don't know, it speaks to this kind of disaffected feeling, you know, and this alienation. And it's, you know, ironically that became the standard, and then, you know, and then that had to be overturned. But it's just it's an interesting thing to go back to, especially when you're dealing with kind of esoteric existential ideas like these.
Yeah.
And it just gives a chance for like really gray characters, which are always more fun to play, you know.
Wouldn't you agree, everybody out there? You know, it's all about the great characters. Yeah. So, for the three of you, I'll ask all three of you to answer this. What are you excited for the readers to experience in this? What are you looking forward to? Without giving stuff away, what are you hoping they get out of it?
I'm really excited that it's dealing with, to some sense, kind of the Judeo-Christian mythology of the angels and demons, but doing it in a very unique way. I think, look, that's such a
Look at
freaking,
this.
that's the angel, the Christian, and some of it comes from like biblical reading and different ideas, but it just like lets his imagination go. It's just it's coming at these ideas in such a unique way, with like the heart of it being this really emotional, deeply true feeling of wrestling with this hidden thing that's inside of you that no one else can see, and you don't know how to overcome it.
Yeah.
And you're, and there's an epic battle that's waging behind you.
Fantastic. How about you guys? What are you hoping the readers are going to get out of it?
Oh yeah, we could top that.
Yeah.
Just the unexpected, and just to surprise people. I think people are going to be really surprised with this, and it's going to go places that you won't expect. And I think that's going to be a really thrilling read.
Right?
Yeah, for me, it's just, I'm really excited for people to get to know Leo. I think his redemption story is really, really interesting. He is a wounded person himself who has a tragedy that sort of motivates. I mean, he's a bad cop. I mean, we talked about Bad Lieutenant as a reference point very early on.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get much worse than Bad Lieutenant. And so I think starting in such a dark and terrible place, I mean, he has reasons for it. And so I'm excited for people to see him try to dig his way out.
Fantastic, fantastic. You know, Oscar and I were talking about, what is it about, comic storytelling that's meaningful, that's appealing, and why it connects with audiences. I want to ask the same for you two. You guys have worked on other projects as well. What is it about the comic medium that is just so great, in your opinion?
Well, I think it's very personal. I think the reason why comic fans are so like, oh, canon, my stuff, like you own it because you're holding the physical object in your hand, and you can read it 1,000 times, and you have to actually provide the story that's in between the panels. Like, we give you a version of it, and we give you sort of like the cliff notes, but your mind goes to a place to fill in all those blanks. And so, that's what's exciting, because you get to sort of author the world in your own way.
Yeah, there's no medium like it. I mean, comics is so special, and you can tell any story in comics, whether it be intergalactic or really intimate. And in a book like this where it's kind of almost both, you can't do that anywhere else. And it's just anyone can do a comic, and that's what I love about it. There's no gates. Anyone can make a comic and tell fantastic stories and just share it, and it's just brilliant.
Isn't that great, everybody? Yeah? Now, we might be getting a little ahead of ourselves, but Oscar, depending how this goes, and I think a lot of folks are going to like this from what they're seeing already.
Hope so.
Do you think continuing your acting trend in this genre, do you think we might see Headroom Sparrow come to life on screen at some point? What do you think?
I don't know. One never knows. We'll see. We'll see. It definitely is written in such a way that it's a continuing story, and John and Bob did create this incredible mythology that this just starts to scratch the surface to. Yeah. So there's a lot more story to tell, which is very exciting.
A lot.
A lot? Oh, so are we hinting that more to come, yeah?
I'm not hinting anything. I'm just saying there's a lot more to tell.
That's terrific. That's terrific. Well, we do have about 13 minutes left of this. I thought we might open up for some Q&A here in the audience. How does that sound? Would you guys like to ask some questions? All right, all right. Now take your time. Take your time, because we are on a limited time frame. We're not going to be able to get with everyone, but we've got 2 microphones here. If we could bump the house lights up just a smidge, thank you so much.
People.
There we go. Now you can really see it. Christian, don't get more nervous, okay? We'll go back and forth and see how many we can get. Let's start over here. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Charles. I'm from Queens.
Hi.
Oscar, before I ask my question, I just want to say my father's from Medellin, Colombia. And I want to thank you for being a hero for Central and South America.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
When I grew up in the 80s, there was nothing like that. And I really want to thank you for that.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
And I'm also a member of the Brooklyn Academy of Music.
Okay.
Bam! I saw that you're going to do a play in February. My question is, can you tell us about it and the role you're going to play?
Yeah, thanks for that question. Yes, the play is called The Sign in Sidney Brewstein's Window. It's a play by Lorraine Hansberry, who wrote A Raisin in the Sun, the masterpiece. And she was 34 when she was writing this, and she died a year later. It was still running on Broadway, and this is the first New York revival since then. Wow. And it's a beautiful, deeply political play about identity and feeling like what can you do when it feels like there's nowhere to turn. How can you do good with this system the way it is? It's a beautiful play. So I'm very excited to be back on stage after 6 years.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, yeah, my name's Edwin from Connecticut. Obviously not originally. I was about to say, bugger, he just stole my question. But anyway, I have a backup. I've been a great admirer of your career. I loved Ex Machina, Star Wars, obviously, and Moon Knight. I was blown away by your top-notch British accent. It was fantastic. If I didn't know your prior work,
You said it, you see?
Yeah.
It's good.
Right
You said it.
there.
It's right there.
I would assumed you were a Brit. So I just wanted to know, how did you manage to? I mean, I know you're an accomplished actor, but how did you come by such a great British accent? Like, who was your voice coach? Was it your colleague next to you? Or?
You would think it was a little bit good. Ricky Gervais was my dialect.
Really?
Ricky Gervais.
Wow.
Look, I watched a lot of The Office throughout my life. So I feel like I learned a lot of it through osmosis.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just kind of came, and it just started to make me laugh so much and give me so much joy, and I started doing the voice for my kids, and they really loved it, and then I just kept going down that road, and
Oh, go on, do it now.
this is a different thing.
You know you want to.
All right, laters, gators.
Thank you so
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, how are you? I'm Federico. I came all the way from Argentina. So again,
Hey, Argentina!
speaking again of Latin America, I want to ask you which training was the hardest to do? The one you did to be in shape for Moon Knight, or the one you did for lesson for dancing for Ex Machina?
Yeah, you know, the training for both was pretty hard. But with Ex Machina, we had Mr. Disco of 1995 was the choreographer for us, so that helped a lot. Although I didn't realize 1995 was a great year for disco. But
Do you remember the steps?
no.
Good question,
Do you know them?
It's something like this.
Awesome.
That looked a little more like tango, but okay.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Natalie from Queens.
Hi, Natalie.
So my question is, as I've been walking around the con, I've seen all this amazing fan art and avatars and everything. So I was wondering, is it weird seeing your face as these iconic characters? Because I'm sure it's everywhere.
It feels completely natural.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh, that's it? Oh, we're good.
I mean, do you need more than that?
No, that's the perfect answer.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hi.
Hi, my name is Naomi. I'm from Long Island.
Hi, Naomi.
Hi, and my question is, we've seen a lot of these panels of Moon Knight. I'm referring specifically to the Random Bullshit Go and the Dracula, you fucking nerd, where's my money? Which are obviously fake. I'm wondering if you tried to get any of those types of scenes in, and if we could see it sometime.
I didn't. I didn't go meme chasing on that one. There was a lot of other stuff to try to work on in that one, but I did see them, and they do make me giggle.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi there.
Hi, I'm Samantha from Queens.
Hi, Samantha.
So I was just wondering, when portraying Mark, Steven, and Jake in Moon Knight, what was the preparation for making these characters so different from each other?
Yeah, well, I remember I asked first in kind of an annoying way. I was like, can we not do the same characters on the same day? Can I just at least do one on the same day? Even just for the basic thing of the accent, you know? But for instance, the accent was something I found early on, which, you know, it's not from the comic books. But, you know, physicality, I think the costumes really helped when I started, you know, finding with our amazing costume designer, Megan Kaspernick, we found Steven's wardrobe and, you know, started imagining what he stood like, and I imagined him that he was like a really tall person that always wants to seem smaller than they are, you know, so he's always kind of collapsing in on himself a little bit. and then how Mark stands differently. And as I got more comfortable with the characters during the shoot, the very long shoot, like 7 months, I started to get more flexible with being able to switch between the two of them and more comfortable. And by the end, we were doing it sometimes from line to line, as you saw.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hi there.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Matari. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. This is my first Comic-Con.
Welcome.
So glad to
Mine
be
too.
here. So I'm a little bit of an outlier. So I really love your work, Scenes from a Marriage, The Card Counter, and then Ex Machina. So my question is there any opportunity, or do you think you may ever do a prequel to Ex Machina that digs more into how you built Ava?
Do you have a script?
We can work on one.
It's a good idea, though. Yeah, it's
Just a thought.
a good idea.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks for being
Thanks.
here. Hi there.
Hello, hello. My name is Rihanna from the Boogie Down Bronx, the best borough in this city, mind you. My question is, out of all the sets, studios, stages that you've worked on throughout your career, have you ever not stolen anything, but liberated anything from those sets? And if so, where do they reside now?
Constantly have liberated things. In a closet and in a basement in Williamsburg.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you so much. Hello.
Hi, my name is Ariel, and I'm from Kissimmee, Florida.
Hi.
Hey. So my question is, I just fell in love with your portrayal of DID in Moon Knight. How did you prepare for that? What kind of work did you do to become like aware of DID and that portrayal?
Yeah, well, thank you for the question. Yeah, that for me was the most important part. And if it wasn't about us taking that and committing 100% to what that is and to delve into it in an authentic way, there was no point in doing this thing. And so for me, it became about researching it a lot, talking to a lot of therapists that have dealt with it. And there was one book in particular by Robert Oxman, and right now the name's it's going, it was like my Bible. And he talked about his whole journey with DID when he found out he even had it. He had no idea. He was like well into his 40s and married and just thought that he was an alcoholic. And then he just went into such harrowing detail about his journey discovering that he was a system and what that meant to him. And so that started a process of working with Marvel, with the writers, of talking every day, of really delving into it in an empathetic way and in a truthful way to talk about what that trauma is like and how ultimately that's a human superpower, that someone can live through such horrible, sustained trauma for so long, and as a way to survive, the body finds a way to give birth to these other personas that can hold on to that trauma, that can help that organism survive. It's actually an incredible thing, and so we wanted to make this a story about that realization, that revelation. And so for us, that was a really important thing. You know, that line that he says, "You're the only superpower that I've ever had." That was something that came out of a lot of these conversations, and for me, that was a line that I brought, and I said, I feel like this is the whole point of the whole thing, you know? Yeah.
Thank you. It was so
Wonderful
good.
question. Thank you so much for that. I think we've got time for one more question right over here. We'll see.
Hi, I'm Maleficent from Queens.
Hi, thank you for my shade fan. You gave me my shade fan.
So, Oscar, I don't know another actor with as much charisma, uniqueness, nerve, or talent as you, and I know from yesterday you know how to work a fan.
Work, girl.
So,
Work it, girl.
My question is, I know you're a huge fan of RuPaul's Drag Race, as am I. Would you ever grace the stage of Drag Race as a judge or maybe a contestant, and what would be your drag name?
Wow. Oh.
Pressure's on.
Oh, Tim. Where's my Tim? Yeah, yes and yes, first of all. Yes and yes. I mean, my go-to, I was doing drag at a very early age, and my sister named me Raisin, so I feel like I have to stick with Raisin.
Raisin.
Yeah, Raisin was my name.
I love it.
Is my name. It's one of my names. Is Raisin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, let's try it. We got another one.
Hi, Jamie, also from Queens. We all know about the epic love story of you and Pedro Pascal, and
It's heavy. It's a heavy one.
there cannot be a love story without an interloper. So if there was any other actor who could possibly steal away your affections, who would that be?
Oh.
I don't know. Pedro's such a slut. He would just go for anybody. So, yeah. I don't know. For me, it's I'm ride or die with him, but he's loosey goosey. So we'll
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's great. We got to you. You're going to be the last one. You got it.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm from Yonkers. You performed wonderfully in Nick Wazisco in my hometown, Show Me a
thank
Hero.
you,
We spoke
thank
about this
you.
very briefly yesterday.
Yes.
If is anyone that you still are kind of manifesting that you want to work with in like behind the scenes or in front of the camera, like that you just haven't, but you're like, oh, it's a dream to work with them?
Oh, Kate Blanchett.
Yeah. Good answer.
I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
I've always want to do something with her.
I can't
One
wait
day.
for it then.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank everyone out there so much for the questions out there. Now, just so you know, Brian and Christian, you guys are going to be out on the show floor at the Rocket Ship booth, right? That is 2038 on the floor at 2 p.m. They're going to be signing some Headwound Sparrow mini posters, so go and check that out. I think Oscar Isaac did an amazing time on his very
Thanks, guys.
first spotlight, don't you?
Thanks, everybody.
And I want to thank gentlemen as well. Brian
You were great, too.
and Christian Ward, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of New York Comic Con.